Good day to you, my friends. I have come to the conclusion that I am just going to call everyone my friend now. It could be a client, a customer, maybe something else. But you know what? I have decided that when I'm talking about a group of people that could be my friends, could be my customers or my clients, my users, I am now going to call everyone a friend because it's true. That's what they are. And I want to say hello to all my friends because at the end of the day, we should be creating amazing relationships with a bunch of people, which ultimately I think you would call a friend. So, hello, friends. Rebecca, hello, friend. Hope you're doing well. I've used that word a lot, friends, but I've also interchanged it with several different words. And, last night I had this aha moment. I was like, you know what? It's time. It's time to move to that word. So, I want to talk about competition. I have some interesting thoughts on competition, and I think you guys are going to enjoy it. So, competition is to strive to gain or win something by defeating or establishing superiority. I didn't write that. It was, I think, from the dictionary. Right? And so, in business, a lot of people talk about, you got to know what your competition is doing. And I think that's fine. But I think you have to first understand, what are your goals? And then think about your competition and say, well, what are their goals? If your goal is to make a couple $100,000 a year and your competition's goal is to make several $1 million a year with several different spots all across the world, you're very different businesses. So you really aren't competition with each other, even though you would think it. And so I believe there's been this big marketing push towards worry about your competition, worry about your competition. And you know what? I don't know. I think I believe. What's up, Stanley? What's up, Rebecca? Hello, friends. I know you want to crush them, and I think that's fine. But what I think you have to realize is something a little bit different. So, who is this? Do you know who this is? His initials are right there. When you think of Michael Phelps, what do you think about? You can see just the tip of my hair. Ooh. What do you think about when you think about Michael Phelps? What are some of the words that are associated when you think of Michael Phelps? Feel free to post them in the comments. When you think of Michael Phelps, what do you think? Right? To me, it's a winner, super focused, laser focused, works his tail off, wants to be the best in the world, driven, sure. But here's the thing. This is where I'm going to make, hopefully, my biggest point of the day. He probably trains just as hard as anyone else, but he's super focused, right? So, what happens? Michael Phelps, super focused. Here's one of his races. There's his competition. What's his competition doing? Looking at him. Instead of focusing on the task at hand, instead of worrying about your customers, you worry about the competition too much. And as you can see, the guy in the picture, who I believe the story is in the previous Olympics in 12, beat Michael Phelps. But then in this Olympics, or maybe it wasn't in the Olympics, but it was a previous race. But in the recent Olympics in 16, look what he did. He looked too much at his competition. Michael Phelps knows that if he stays focused and in his lane and does the task at hand, he will win. And I want you guys to be thinking about that. Now, I love to win too. So don't get me wrong. But I believe that a lot of us focus so much on our competition instead of actually focusing on our customers and making sure that they have the greatest experience possible. Michael Phelps probably trains just as much as that other guy. Many of us are busting our tails just as much or maybe more than our competition. But we worry so much about them that we lose sleep. We lose money. We lose customers because we stop focusing on our customers. And I want you, look, I want to be the best in the world. I want to be the GOAT, right? I have competition. You know what I think about them? I don't care. When I worry about my competition, I'm wasting my time. I am wasting your time, right? I'm literally here to help you right now. So anyone listening, watching to this, not only am I very thankful that you're watching, but literally I'm doing this for you. And if you can build that into your process where you're building for your friends, which, you know, are your followers, your users, your customers, your clients, whatever you call them. If you continually make sure that you are providing them the best experience possible and limit or remove the competition thought out of it, you will have way better relationships and way better success than if you spend so much time on your competition. Look, and I'm not, this is a learning experience. This was a learning experience for me because I think a lot of people will bring up what's your competition doing? You know what? What do my customers want? That's what you should be asking yourself. I like that line. What do your customers want? What do they need? I have terrible handwriting. I have no way I'm going to be able to read that later. Look at that. It's ridiculous. Yes, this is paper and a pen. My black book that I got, I still haven't opened it. I don't know what to write in it. Like, it's just beautiful. But does this make sense? Like, how much of your time have we been thinking about our competition rather than asking our target customers or having conversations with them? We're like, oh, you know, the pet store down the street's doing this. You know, Amazon's doing this. Instead, think about how you can help your customers, right? Every day, almost every day I ask, you know, do you guys have questions? Are there topics that you want me to talk about, right? I help you do that. Then you start a podcast, right? You start doing your own daily shows. And so if you are trying to be seen and you're wondering why you are not getting the results that you want, how much of your day are you worrying about your competition instead of reaching out to someone and saying, hi, I'd like to create a friendship with you? I mean, is that crazy to think? Yes, it's almost 1 o'clock and I'm still drinking coffee. Almost cold. So, do you have sleepless nights thinking about competition? Yes, your competition is absolutely going to try and kill you. I'm not trying to make the point that they're not. The point I'm trying to make is ignore that and focus on your customers. Focus on your targets who are looking for their pain points to be solved. I don't know why competition is such a big buzzword. Right? I guess it's because people want to win. Sure, that's great. But like you cannot focus on that. I mean, think about that race, right? I mean, look at this. Look at this picture. Michael Phelps is focused on the task at hand. What is his competition doing? Worrying about Michael Phelps. For those of you just listening to audio, I'm showing an image of Michael Phelps in a 200 butterfly against someone in the 2016 Olympics, where Michael Phelps is not looking at his competitor. He's focused on the task at hand, which is winning the race. And his competitor, who is just a couple inches behind him, is staring at him. I get it. You want to know what your competitors are doing. You want to know if you are in the same boat as them. I get it. It's human nature to think that. You can still be competitive, but do not waste your time over and over and over and over again on your competitors, because you're going to be missing out on having great conversations with your friends, with the people who are looking for answers, right? There are people out there that are looking to get their dogs washed. There are people out there that are looking to get lapels and pocket accessories, men's clothing. But oftentimes we worry about our competitors instead of trying to figure out what our customers are looking for. So Rebecca says, I looked at my competition to make my product better than theirs. That's important, sure. What type of conversations were you having with people that were using your competitors? What type of things do they challenge you with? Saying, I would really appreciate if I could have access to XYZ. Or I wish XYZ business would give me this. You know, a lot of people are miserable. And you're absolutely right. You can build a business off of creating, off of someone else, what someone else sucks. But what I don't want you to do is focus so much on just them, on just your competition, and not focusing on those who are looking at you for help. Because that's how you'll create raving fans. That's how you'll create champions. And that is how you will grow your business. If you don't have a business, it doesn't matter. You know, focus on the goal. Focus on the task at hand. Right? So Rebecca, that's interesting. So I kind of agree with that. So as a dog owner, and I'm not always someone's customer. I'm actually not your customer. I haven't been your customer, but I guess I could be your customer. She says, because you have a dog washing service, that your competitors would lock up their dogs, their customers' dogs, for hours before being groomed. And they would force you to bring the dog at a certain time too, right? And I always thought that was interesting. I also, in a way, thought it was a good way to get a free daycare out of your dog. So, love it and hate it at the same time. But it is kind of weird, like, oh, drop them off at a certain time. Then, you know, when it's appropriate, we'll bring you in. And so what did you do to kind of change that, Rebecca? My guess is you just didn't lock them up. You put them in a pen where they could hang out with a bunch of people, or you would only do, you know, one at a time and it would be at the right time. My guess is the type of things that you would do. But yeah, I mean, I always thought that was interesting, where, you know, what a dog groomer would do. That is kind of weird, because there'd be so many dogs in there. I'd be like, this is kind of odd, right? But if you don't ask those questions, you can't solve those problems. And so I appreciate that you've done that. But now that you have those problems to solve, you know, continue to ask those questions from your clients and their clients, which I'm calling friends, and figure out where those pain points are. But you personally, don't be worrying, and not just you, but anyone, don't stress the competition side of it. Just build an amazing product and make sure you're constantly communicating with your customers, aka your friends. If you're think about why I'm saying friends, right? I might have said this the other day. Like, there's a restaurant that I really like called Dirty Buffalo. They have amazing chicken wings, buffalo style. I like chicken wings. You can probably tell. And I don't like breaded chicken wings. I just like, naked chicken wings with sauce, something like that. And what's interesting is I tend to have the same server. And they recently said, you have a lot of friends. I was like, that's weird. Like, but I guess I do. And so I was like, and a lot of those friends are actually customers or clients. And I have a relationship with them. And so I was like, you know what? And I was talking to my buddy Alan Branch, another friend in Florida. And he was telling me about, you got to create these relationships with people. And, that's what it's about. Like, if you create amazing relationships with people, create friendships with people, they might end up doing business with you at some point. Like my main man, Ben Wallace, who I met like in 2011 in Omaha, haven't seen him since. I've chatted with him a handful of times since, but he's a friend, right? Had a great time. I think that's who it is. Yeah. Wouldn't that be embarrassing if I'm talking about someone and it's the wrong person? Some sort of friendship there. But my point is that if we create, it is that one. If we create a ton of relationships, a ton of friendships with people, they'll start following us. They'll be telling people, look at this. I mean, this is my case in point. Like, we try so hard to force things down. And we're like, well, why doesn't this work? Well, it's because you're not trying to create friendships with people. Yeah. Amen, brother. I'm going to buy that book. See? Love it. The Mustache Fundraiser. Yeah, what was that? We had mustaches or something? That was fun. So there's this event in Omaha. I haven't been back since, but it was a lot of fun. And actually, that was one of the best conferences. And so, trying to think of who told me to go there. This guy named Dan something. Oh, I'm gonna figure it out because I don't like to not know people's name. I forgot Shaka Smart's name yesterday. Ticked myself off when I saw that. Dan Martell? Is that his name? Dan Martell is at Dan Martell, Martel on Twitter. I was meeting with him at some point over the last decade, and he was like, hey, you should go to this event, Big Omaha. I think he even might have been the host of it before. Ben, do you remember? Was that him? Was Dan Martell a host there before or something, or the MC, whatever they call that? And so what was really, really cool is, here's this guy basically creating a friendship with, and he's like, oh, you should go to this thing. And then I go, and there's definitely a couple of people I've been able to keep in touch with there over the years. Dusty, who's now created Flywheel, Jeff Slabowski, Silicon Prairie News. He's done Something Ventures now. You're just creating these friendships with these people, even if you don't see them a lot. But that whole mindset of, it's a very different thing when you're creating a relationship with a friend than when you're just trying to push business down someone's throat. He was a session presenter, Dan Martell was. But he's great. I've followed him for a while now. He's a friend. I like the stuff that he does. A really cool Canadian entrepreneur who has sold a couple businesses, but really gives back and has great friendships and relationships with a ton of people. But just think about this whole thing. If you change your mindset to creating a crap ton of friendships, it can be remarkable. And another thing that's crazy is become friends with your competitors. Because oftentimes those competitors actually aren't your competitors. They are actually someone who's going after a completely different business. They just happen to be in the same space. So maybe you're going after more small businesses. They're going after more large businesses. And when a small business comes to them, they say, we can't do this. Give it to my friend down the street. That's happened to me a million times. Maybe not a million, but a lot. Right? Make friends with everyone. At this talk that I was at last night, I was talking to this lady. I can't remember her name or her business. It's like the Cat something in Franklin, Virginia. And she was saying something where she was just reaching out to some other competitors and businesses in her area, but then also across the country. And they're all giving each other great feedback, creating friendships there. I mean, it's important, right? Like everyone that watches this show, everyone that listens, consumes, like, I want to be your friend. I literally want to. And even if we meet only once or we never meet ever, but we just can talk here, online, wherever, like, that's amazing, right? I literally met Ben Wallace once, and we've talked a handful of times since, online, Facebook Messenger, Twitter, whatever it is. But those are relationships that you'll never forget. And just by being a genuinely caring person, instead of, like, we all know why we hate the cable person calling us or that sales call calling us. We might actually even need it. But that person isn't trying to create a relationship with us. They're not trying to create a friendship with us. They're like, yo, buy my thing. Bam. We just don't want to be sold to. You just gotta create a crap ton of friendships with people. That's it. You do that, good things will happen. And Ben is now invested in my success now because of those few days in Omaha. I need to go back. When is Big Omaha this year? I don't know that I can go this year. I'm pretty booked on some things. But I think, this is what's crazy. 2018 has just gotten started, but it's loaded already. But I think on 2019, I need to do a conscious effort to get out, like crazy get out. Go to Big Omaha again. God, that was amazing. That was so much fun. It was just, have you guys ever been to like a conference or an event and you just felt like it was just very well produced? The people in Omaha were amazing. I learned that in Omaha, they really only have 2 seasons, summer and winter. I also didn't realize how cheap it was. That was pretty cool. We hung out at several different bars. Obviously, one of the best movies of all time, Up in the Air, with George Clooney and Anna Kendrick. That movie is, themed in Omaha. But the people there are just super nice. I think there's more billionaires per capita in Omaha than anywhere else. Just an all-around great time. It's probably the last time I actually got in a taxi instead of an Uber. Because that was coming around. At that point, maybe it was an Uber. Who knows? But that was an all-around good time. And, just create friendships. It's not that hard of a concept to think, to work on. If you genuinely care about the people that you're working with, good things will probably happen. So remember, if you're so focused on your competition, you're not able to create those relationships, those friendships with others. Sure, there's definitely things that you can learn from them and learn from their mistakes. But if you're wondering why your business or what you're trying to accomplish isn't working, be sure that you are talking with those customers, those friends, and creating relationships with those competitors, but not dwelling on them, not worrying about them. Because at the end of the day, there's probably hundreds or thousands of people that are looking for you. And if you have a big enough type of product, service, or business, there could be tens of thousands of people, hundreds of thousands, maybe even millions of people. And they just want you to send them a note saying, hi, do you care? But instead you're like, oh, look at what the person across the street is doing. Oh, I'm so mad. Then you lose. March Madness is upon us. What is that first score of the game? I think a game started, right? Now remember, I did predict... we got a close one. Oklahoma, the 10th seed, who should not be in the tournament, up by 2 over Rhode Island. I just realized, I didn't even recognize this. It could be Oklahoma Duke second round. That could be interesting. Then would people hate Duke or hate Trae Young? Oh, it'll be interesting. I believe the 2 o'clock game, Kansas versus Penn, watch out for the biggest upset in NCAA history as Penn takes down the Jayhawks. Yep, it's going to happen. And when it does, it's going to be hilarious. Can't wait. Thank you all, as always, so much for being here. A little early today. But, you know, we do this every day. Tomorrow, it's 5 Dice Friday. If Kansas loses, we might just talk about Kansas losing for the all 5 things. Work on those friendships. That's the most important thing that you can do in your life. It's creating a ton of amazing relationships with people. Thank you for being a friend. And until next time, I'll see you soon. Peace and love. I'm really terrible at those hearts. Y'all have a wonderful day. Rebecca, Stanley, Ben, thanks for the love. Talk to you guys soon. Hit me up in the DMs if you got questions. Peace.